You're listening to District of Dreams, a Changeling the Dreaming 20th Anniversary actual play by Hallowed Haven Studios.
Previously on District of Dreams, we entered on the Magic Beans coffee shop in downtown Washington, D.C., where we met Georgina, the cute, sulky barista, Sir Crook, not cute redcap patron, Sigrun, the super smart Slua librarian, and me, Elodie, Blight, Clara and superhero. The shop got a visit from Lady Kiera Rhodes, who she's all right, you know, and Kiera asked Sigrun for a tarot reading, but the reading turned out to be a lot more than we had bargained for, as everyone except Sigrun had visions of their past, including standing around a round table as knights. Sigrun didn't have a vision at all. She recited a prophecy about debts and swords and once and future dreams and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that was enough to get us moving. And no one was answering our calls at Parliament, so we headed over that way where we met up with Kiera's dad, Lord Eric Rhodes. Lord Eric hit us with the big news. High King David is dead. And we'd find out later that he had been murdered. Suddenly, our visions and prophecies and quests are all sinking into the mire of changeling politics, because no one knows who will be king or queen. But while we're worrying about politics, suddenly, shadows attacked. They kidnapped Kiera, which is totally not cool, and then some of them came after us. But that was dumb, because we totally kicked their asses. But now, Kiera's gone, and we're being threatened, and Kiera's gone, and there are these visions. And did I mention that Kiera's gone? Oh, I hope Rowan gets home soon. Maybe he'll know what to do.
I'm Bookkeeper, and I'm playing Crook, the redcap wilder. Our pronouns are he, him.
Hi, I'm Hannah Marie. I'm playing Elodie Blight, the Claracon childling, and my pronouns are she, they. Her pronouns are she, her.
Jesus. Hi, I'm Clara Allison, and I play Georgina Byrne, a sulky wilder, and my pronouns are she, they, and her pronouns are she, her.
Hello, I'm Rob Davies. I will be playing Rowan Parsons, a boggin grump. Both her pronouns are he, him.
Hello, I'm Madam Ava. I play Sigrun, the Salua grump, and we both use she, her pronouns.
And I'm Bloodied Porcelain. I will be your storyteller for the evening, and I use she, her pronouns. All right. Picking up from where we left off. We had Sigrun, Crook, and Elodie in the main room of the Magic Beans coffee shop in Washington, D.C. They had just fought off alongside Lord Rhodes an attack from some sort of strange shadowy beings who snatched up Lady Kiera, Lord Rhodes' daughter. Now, standing there in the kind of dim lighting with the smell of like a cold, almost deathly winter's chill, the kind of smell that you get when you walk through a forest where everything has gone dormant for the winter. It is crisp, but there is also that lingering scent of moldering leaves left over from the autumn. Everything is rotting and decaying away. There is a note of urgency in the room and hanging over the three of you as Lord Rhodes looks alarmed and panicked, but also like he is trying desperately to be neither of those things for right now. And he turns to Sigrun. You think you can find her?
I can certainly try. It would require some rest after such a tumultuous day.
In the morning, then?
In the morn.
Okay. Well, if we have... I need you all to do me a favor. Tell as few people about this as possible. If the wrong people find out that my heir is missing, and worse, that she went missing under my nose, it could be a disaster for everyone in my house. Not just me. Even if we bring Kiera back, she may come back to nothing.
I do a little salute. Yes, sir, Lord Guy, sir.
He just sort of gives you this like half nod and kind of like this like down girl gesture with his hand. Like, that's not necessary. In that case, I'm going home. I have to tell my wife, and I'm going to start putting together a search party of those I know are loyal to my house. I will see you all tomorrow.
Smell you later, I guess.
Be safe.
You as well.
And he sort of nods, grabs his things, and heads for the door, leaving the three of you to either go straight to bed or have a moment to discuss before you go to bed. What would you like to do?
Sorry, go ahead.
Crook just walks forward to lock the door and pull down all the shades.
Do you think Rowan's gonna be home soon?
I don't know.
Has anyone tried to reach him?
That might have been a good idea. I'll call him in the morning. It's getting late.
Well, I suppose the morning will be fine enough. But maybe a little bit of a message just to see if when he'll be returning at the very least. We don't have to get into details as to what happened.
I'll send him a text. You two go to bed.
Okay. I head towards the stairs and I turn around and just say, "Good night, love you."
Dreams to you, dear.
Nah.
Crook,
Say it back.
Go to bed.
Get you to say it. And then I run up the stairs.
Do not stay up too late, Crook.
I'm going to sleep. I'm just going to sleep down here.
Very well. Let me know if you need anything.
The rest of them will shout. You just, if something shows up, knock something over.
True enough. Sleep well.
Sure.
All right. You all settle in for the night. Crook makes himself comfortable on a couch downstairs, intending to be somewhat of a guard dog, I suppose, for the coffee shop. Meanwhile, we have upstairs in the small room of an already small apartment. Georgina, you are sleeping. And you can tell that you're sleeping, but you can't seem to wake up. You are caught hard in the grip of a nightmare. In this nightmare, you are standing on a cliffside overlooking a roiling sea below you. And you can see the waves coming up and hammering the cliffs over and over and over again. And as they do, they get a little bit higher every time. And you watch as figures begin to form out of the foam at the top of the waves. They are dark and watery. And each of them reaches out to you and stares at you with what feels like accusation, accusing you of things you can't quite put your hands on. The sound is so loud, the waves are crashing. It's hard to make all of the words out. You do make out the name Betrayer over and over again. And then the waves climb up and up and up until they surround your ankles and then your legs. And you only have a moment to feel a note of terror as it feels like the wave becomes a hand and wraps around you and pulls you hard down off of the cliff and under the water. You shouldn't be afraid of water. You know that you shouldn't be afraid of water. You are home here. You are alive and comfortable in the water, but this doesn't feel like that. This feels like the water has taken on a life of its own. It doesn't welcome you like family anymore. It pulls you in like it is trying to suffocate you. And it drags you down and down and down, and you see at the bottom of the ocean this crumbling what used to be a massive palace, a massive castle. The ramparts have begun to fall and crumble into the sea. There are gaping holes in the walls where it looks like time and the tides have battered them away. And you find yourself staring at the figure of a woman standing on the seabed with long dark hair that gets whipped around her by the waves. And her hand is reaching out towards you. And in it is a sword that glows like the dawn. You try to reach out, but when you attempt to reach out, the sword and the woman begin to crumble away like dust and are swept away in the tide. And then you wake up.
I wake up just flailing, coughing. Elodie, are you still staying here tonight?
Yeah, I live here.
Fuck. God. I'm gonna get up and just get a glass of water. It's fine.
Gigi, you okay?
Yeah, weird night.
You're telling me, bud.
Are you okay?
Oh, you missed it. Oh, we were attacked by shadows and they kidnapped Kiera.
Sorry, what?
We were attacked by shadow men, and Crook bit one of them, and Kira's gone. Like, swallowed up by the shadows and disappeared, except we're not supposed to tell people that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lord Rhodes said that we shouldn't let that get out, but, like, I figured that you should know, because you're in the motley. And I'm kind of stressed about it, G.
Hey, no, it's, why are you stressed?
I don't know.
Is it because you're worried about Kiera?
Well, of course I'm worried about Kiera. She's really nice, and I just wish Rowan was here.
He'll be back soon. He's not gone very long. He can't be gone very long.
He just always knows what to do.
Do you want hot cocoa?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
But then we gotta go to bed. Otherwise, I think Crook's gonna eat my fingers.
If he hasn't done it already, he's probably not going to.
That's what I said. But the chance is never zero.
The chance is never zero. It's just a weird night for weird nights, I guess.
Everything will be brighter in the morning.
It usually is. Marshmallows?
Yeah.
Okay. You two are able to make hot cocoa, settle in, and attempt to settle and soothe your nerves before returning to bed. It is Oh, go ahead.
Can I check my phone?
You can. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Texts.
None since the ones you sent out earlier.
Fine.
You settle in. Georgina, your dreams are not as heavy-handed as the one that you just had, but are still not comforting. You toss and turn, seeing those images of the dark figures coming up out of the waves at you, over and over and over again. And the image of the young woman with the long dark hair that whips around her in the waves, holding up the sword, only for it to crumble away before you can get there. It replays again and again and again and again in your head. Come morning, Sigrun, you wake up with words echoing in your head that you realize upon waking are a snippet of the prophecy that slipped away from you so quickly the day before. And now they in your mind.
She's gonna quickly reach over to like her nightstand for her journal, because of course she does, and just start writing it down.
You get the last two lines of the first stanza and the last two lines of the second stanza. You know that there is stuff in the middle, but it slips away before you can get it all down, so you're just writing what you can remember. So you get the high one's light shall dim and fade, by fate's cruel hand a debt is paid, by treachery or destiny in absence a lost legacy.
Okay. I think she's gonna stay in that space to see if maybe anything else can be, if she focuses on it, anything can be drawn back out. But once it fades, she'll start getting ready for her day.
Excellent. That's like I said, that's all you get down. And then you are able to get yourself ready for the morning. You know that your motley members will probably be waiting for you upstairs.
All right. Yep, she'll get ready and make her way up. Good morning.
Hello. Egg sandwich for you. Egg sandwich just for you. And I hand you an egg sandwich.
How'd you sleep?
It was silent. Appreciated. The sandwich also appreciated, even if it comes with too early of chipper.
Egg sandwich has bacon.
Very well. She'll just take it and make her way over to one of her tables.
Sigrun accepts the bacon tax.
Bacon tax.
We toasted the English muffin.
Crook, you are woken up by the sound of voices, and one of them is singing about English muffins and bacon.
Mm-hmm.
And as that grunt leaves him, the rest of you look over into the main part of the coffee shop and find that Crook went to sleep on the couch under one of Rowan's Afghans.
Crook, you could have come upstairs.
Yeah. He tucks his hat tied up back on top of his head. I could have done a lot of things. Right now, I could fold this Afghan.
All right.
Someone's being on Mr. Grumpy Gills.
If he wasn't, I would be very concerned.
This is going to be a great morning. We're going to find Kiera. We're going to kick butt. We're going to make Lord Rhodes really proud of us. We're going to fix the world, and we're going to have a new king or queen. And it's all going to work out today. And Rowan's coming home. And we have bacon sandwiches with eggs.
Speaking of Rowan, have you heard anything, Crook?
Nope, not yet.
As Crook says that, the door to the coffee shop is thrown open. There is a gust of cold air from outside as Rowan shuffles inside with the smell of winter and snowfall behind him.
Good morning. I came as quickly as I could. Are you all right? He says, and he looks around the room, but particularly looks in Sigrun's direction.
Tired, strain, but all right.
I can imagine. I heard your voice all the way out at the estate sale I was at out in the country.
This must be the most influential and loud Asalua's voice has ever carried. I must document that and share.
Yes, I can imagine. There were a lot of other voices in there as well, but yours was the most prominent. It was surprising, but not surprising all at the same time, given what I think was being talked about. I'm assuming, did all of you get the same? Oh, okay. What happened? I'm going to sit down and suggest that everyone else do the same with their breakfast.
Before Rowan can sit, I am going to tackle him, just going, Rowan, you're home. You're home. So much has happened. We got so much to tell you. Do you want bacon?
Elodie, yes, it's very good to see that you are safe and sound, and yes, I would adore some bacon. Thank you ever so much. Do you need some help with that?
No, I can do it. Sit.
Okay.
I can do it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna run off to make everyone breakfast while the old people sit down.
Rowan does sit, but looks with some concern towards the kitchen area to make sure that nothing is being missed, and worrying that people maybe need muffins or something to go with their breakfast. But is it all right? So something must have happened, because I can't be the only one who heard that, even though I was the only one at the estate sale who heard it. Please, whoever wishes to, what do you have?
I know for at least myself, there was more focus on the words, the visions. I believe everyone else had more vivid. But, let's see, at least running through. It happened after doing a reading for Kiera. Not prompted. Very unexpected. Let's see. And I think the only other thing, at least that I could have gleaned was, well, besides the fact that the girl was unsettled by it, there seems to be a more underlining concern with Kiera, but I guess that has to be a bridge crossed later when she's found. Also, by the way, Kiera was kidnapped, but we can talk about that later.
Rowan's eyes go wide at this revelation, but he says, yes, everything in its time and place, of course. Oh, goodness. Yes, there was a real sense of dread and foreboding when I heard it. And there was... I definitely felt the need to get home as quickly as possible, and unfortunately, this was the fastest I could get here. I mean, that house was way out in the boonies, but yes. So you all saw visions when this prophecy was being recited.
Arthurian in nature. Speaking of, the shop has a lot of books in it.
Yes.
Do we have anything on Arthur?
I would be very surprised if we didn't, but I want to ask the storyteller to confirm, because it is also kind of a book exchange at times as well.
It is. It is a little mini library book exchange, lovingly curated by your very own Slua. Sigrun.
Yes.
You know that there are certainly Arthurian books among the collection, or there should be. Would you like to check to see if they are still here?
I would certainly love to check.
You did hear from Crook's calling around that a lot of Arthurian books were just weirdly not where they were supposed to be in any of the mortal places he called.
Yeah, I would certainly love to try, and I hope there's no rolls involved, because those were not great last week.
Rowan, being that he is Boggin, and also just, being the decent person that he is going to offer his assistance to Sigrun.
Okay. In that case, I will allow Sigrun to make a perception and let's just perception and alertness roll. Okay. Unfortunately, your specialty in clairvoyance does not help you here, but you do get You do get 2 extra dice from Rowan.
All right.
You should have just
difficulty.
Yes, ma'am.
You should have just looked from the couch. Then the clairvoyance specialty would have played in.
Woohoo!
4 successes. Okay. You and Rowan move to the shelves and begin to look through things. You are rattling off titles and series that you know are in the collection. Whether or not they are still here or if anybody took them home is a little bit of a guess. And it's odd because as you two begin to look, you realize that each and every book that has even the most mild allusion to Arthur, Camelot, Excalibur, anything like that, isn't here. In fact, not only are they not here, but in the places where those books should be are like hardback journals with nothing in them.
This is very strange. We haven't ever stocked blank journals, have we?
No.
I didn't think so.
Someone has tampered with my books.
Dear.
Naughty.
I run upstairs and I will run back down and just... My DVD copy of the BBC's Merlin is gone!
It's wild we can hear her from down here.
Sorry, go ahead.
I have one more Hail Mary I want to try, but it seems like a stretch. So I need the storyteller to confirm I can do this.
Okay.
I studied art history in college.
You did.
There has to have been some pre-Raphaelite work, and they were obsessed with Arthur.
They were?
Can I find my notes?
Let's see. You have established that Georgie is not the most organized or neat of people.
That's true, but I definitely have, which also means I've kept my notes from college.
Sure. The question is, can you find them?
Rowan, I need your help.
I think Rowan might have a mild heart attack if he goes into your apartment.
Rowan, don't look at my apartment.
Yeah, Rowan's not
he'll
allowed.
immediately start compulsively tidying up, and you will not be able to find anything afterwards.
Rowan, stay out of my apartment.
Roll me a perception and let's go with perception and alertness again.
Making sure I don't have anything that'll help me on that first.
You do not. It is standard difficulty only because I'm not mean. The thought occurred to me that Georgie probably has chaos piles.
My notes are in all my books are in a corner.
In a chaos pile.
In a chaos pile.
My life is a chaos pile.
Perception
Difficulty
alertness.
is what?
Difficulty 6, standard.
Listen, we use 2 different commands. 3 successes.
Okay. You find notes that look like they should be what you're looking for. But it's weird because the wording is vague and obtuse to the point where it is hard to tell what some of these notes are about, which is not like you.
I will bring this downstairs because I am messy in person, but my notes are meticulous and color-coded. And this is bad. This is tricksy.
Crook?
Crook doesn't say a word, stands up, marches to his room, slams open his door. There are 3 pictures hanging on the walls. He takes the print of Van Gogh's Starry Night off the wall, turns it around, and looks at it.
I would like you to roll me a single d10. I don't care what the difficulty is. This is going to be evens or odds. Elodie, even or odd?
Odd. Like me.
Well, that's certainly odd. Cool. Also, good that roll was just to find out if something was true or not. Your picture is still there, but your picture is also a little bit more general fantasy. So, and since we're here, I would like you to describe what your home looks like.
Sure. Crook's apartment is pretty Spartan. It's a studio, so it's just one room. There's a queen-size bed with a nightstand, a lazy boy recliner that faces a television that is never on, a 5-shelf bookshelf that's stuffed nearly full on the other side. The walls are white, floors are hardwood. And hanging on the walls, there are 3 pictures. One is a print of Saturn devouring his son by Goya. One is a movie poster for the movie Christine. And one is a print of Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. And as he hangs that back up, Starry Night facing outward, he keeps hidden the print of a knight fighting a dragon that is on the reverse side that he looks at every now and again, but doesn't show anybody else. And having seen that it's still there, he hangs it back up, walks out, shuts his door, walks back downstairs, and picks back up his coffee.
Once everybody has reconvened, I say, I think I'd like to try an experiment. And I'm going to take out my pen, which I always keep with me, just in case an idea for a scene in a book or something should come to mind. I'm going to take one of the blank journals that has replaced the one of the Arthurian books, and I'm going to write a passage talking about something Arthurian, perhaps the legend of Sir Lancelot, just a couple of sentences about it in there. Okay. And I'll put some effort into it, being a fantasy author myself, to make it good quality stuff.
You are able to do that. Roll me perception alertness.
Okay. Does a detail-oriented specialty come into this?
Yes.
Perfect. And I say true for specialty, right?
Yeah. Or you could type in whatever your specialty is, as long as it's there.
Cool. All right, that's
Okay.
4 successes.
All right. You are able to write it down, and it does it, and it seems fine. The journal seems to take it. It doesn't seem to immediately fade or anything like that. And you are a little puzzled and about to just sort of shut the book and move on from that thought, having not really gotten much out of it. When you catch out of the corner of your eye that it looks like the ink that you put on the page is shifting and moving. And when you snap the book back open, it is still your words, but at the beginning of it, you see once upon a time added.
Look at this, I say, pointing it out to everybody else who's in the room.
And rather than it being your very neat penmanship, it has shifted into an almost calligraphic script.
This is not my writing, but this is the page I wrote on. And I did not write once upon a time.
How'd you do that then?
I didn't.
What?
My dear, I think something supernatural is going on here, so we at least know that somebody didn't physically remove these books from the shelves.
I hold my hand out for the journal and the pen with a little grabby hands gesture.
I hand them over.
I'm going to scribble in it in my very, very fast and very jagged handwriting. Are you alive? Check yes or no.
It sits there for a moment and nothing happens. And when you blink, you blink at some point because it's something you can't stare at it forever.
My eyes are burning.
When you blink and your eyes open again, your words are gone.
What?
Something's happening to the written word, to anything art related.
Sigrun, you work at the Library of Congress, don't you?
Oh, dear gods. Oh, no.
But before you freak out, maybe just make a quick call.
I'll send messages, but this is not good. I'm curious if this has anything to deal with the omen that I had of us going into the dreaming itself. I'm curious if something has changed within that.
I would like anyone with dots and kenning to make me a perception and kenning roll, please. Difficulty 6.
Detail-oriented count?
Yes.
Cool.
Oof.
Oh,
Sigrun got a 0. Crook got a 1. Georgie got a 1. Rowan got a 5. Rowan is carrying these checks.
I didn't
Thank
even.
God.
I don't have kenning. I know nothing.
Okay. Elodie, you have kind of like you have such an overactive mind and imagination that you have kind of like spun out a little bit. You are pacing the room, you are thinking, you are kind of babbling to yourself. Rowan is the only one who notices as everybody is like talking to each other. Sigrun is upset. Georgie is trying to calm her down and get her to very calmly go over this process. And Crook, being Crook, is kind of watching the door tensely, hands balled at his fist balled at his side. When Rowan, you notice that the text begins to shift again, and your words begin to go away, and instead leave simply once upon a time, and then the rest of the page is blank.
The words have changed yet again. I point to the page for anybody who's in a state of mind to take a look.
And what you notice especially more than anybody else in the room, is that not only is the page different now, you feel glamour and dream stuff at work in the rooms or in the space around you. It was kind of there at a low level before, and it's always there a little bit because it's your freehold and your balefire is right there. But as the page begins to fade out and leave only once upon a time, it increases significantly in the room around you.
That feeling of the presence of glamour.
Yeah. It's not unchecked and wild the way that it is during a chrysalis.
Right.
But it is certainly similar to when you feel someone use like cantrips and things like that, just much, much, much stronger.
Okay. I'm going to ask the room at large. Actually, before I do, being someone who is, versed in sort of supernatural lore, have I ever heard of anything like this before?
Not this specifically. Like books getting rewritten and things like that. That's new for you.
Mm-hmm.
But glamour does weird shit. It is dream stuff. It is from the dreaming, and sometimes the dreaming does wild stuff. Right. Semi-recently, the dreaming relocated a whole ass building from New York City to DC.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Okay. So I'll ask the room at large. I could try something with this. You know, of course, that I can sort of read between the lines on things in a artful sense, a supernatural sense. But I am worried that whoever is doing all of this, or whatever is doing all of this, that there's a connection to these books, and that the more we put of ourselves into them, the more dangerous it will become. What do you think?
Storyteller.
Uh-huh.
Would a Greymare roll give me a better opinion on what Rowan's about to do?
I mean, I would love to give you an answer, but I'm not entirely clear what Rowan is about to do.
Oh, I would like to, I was going to attempt to use one of my cantrips. This is Between the Lines, the first tier of naming, which allows me to understand the real message in anything written or said. I will need to spend some glamour for prop because I actually lack prop entirely. But I was hoping to try and, get some more insight into what's going on with this book.
Anybody who has Greymare can make me an intelligence and Greymare roll.
I have that.
My pools are the same.
I was built for pretty and hit things.
I'm built for these things. It's just a matter of if my dice want to agree with it. They do.
Holy shit.
Wow, and that's
Rowan,
without a
what the
specialty.
fuck?
I'm so sorry.
I was like, oh, I got 3. Cool.
6 successes for those listening at home.
Crook got 1, Georgie got 3, Sigrun got 2, and Rowan got 6. Wow. Okay. I mean, everybody has some idea of what this could mean. Crook, the thing that you know most about using cantrips in a space where there is kind of glamour that doesn't seem to be untapped is that there is always a tiny risk that, glamour could latch onto your cantrip and it could end up being a lot more than you anticipated it being. It's not a huge risk, but it is a little bit of a risk. Georgie, the thing that you are probably most concerned about, and Sigrun as well. You got 2 and 3. The things that you are most concerned about is the glamour in the room potentially kicking off a pretty intense what's it called? A pretty intense display of Rowan's glamour, which isn't necessarily an awful thing. It's just like a risk to be aware of. You're thinking it could potentially kick off like an unleashing on a pretty big scale. Which, for a boggin is a pretty pleasant affair. Boggins kind of tend to make the spaces around them smell really good and homey. So it's not nearly as bad as say the unleashing of a red cap.
I mean, this just sounds good for business. Bring people in with more coffee and baked goods smells.
Rowan, the thing that you are most aware of is that this could absolutely work, and it might give you the exact kind of insight that you need. You are going to have to be very careful, because if it goes wrong, it could go very wrong.
Gotcha. So plan a pretty good bunk is what we're saying here.
Plan a pretty good bunk, probably spend some willpower, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
For out of character edification above table, am I understanding this as we're lighting a match near puddles of gasoline?
A little bit. It's not quite as insidious as that makes it sound.
What I just mean is that it'll catch.
It might catch, yes.
It's
more like lighting a match when there is gasoline like vaguely nearby. If the wind shifts at just the right moment, it could be a problem.
So the risk is never zero.
Correct.
I'm gonna grab Elodie and move her to a couch with me.
I, who have no idea what's going on because I don't really understand what's happening, is just, wait, what?
We're having couch time.
We're having couch time?
Yeah, we're having couch time.
And I immediately start cuddling Georgie.
If there is concern at all, I mean, this is all of our freehold. I don't want to.
Just get on with it.
All right. So what I'm going to do then is I am going to begin baking gingerbread cookies, and like completely from scratch. And it's gonna take a while. We're talking like a good like hour or so. And then, and I'm going to make sure that everything is, meticulously measured and everything, taken out at exactly the right time. And I'm also going to recite some Arthurian lore under my breath while I'm doing this whole thing. And then I'm going to, when they come out, I'm going to decorate those gingerbread cookies up as Arthurian characters. So, Merlin and King Arthur's in there, Lancelot, Guinevere, all of these people. And I'll have a round cookie as well, which is the round table that I saw in my vision, with the swords pointed inwards. I'm also going to ask the rest of my motley what their visions were, and I'm going to incorporate their visions into the designs that I'm doing on these gingerbread cookies. I will then arrange those gingerbread cookies in a circle, perfect circle, around the book. And then I'm going to cast the cantrip. I will spend 2 glamour to get access to prop 2 artificially, if that seems acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And I will spend a willpower to get an auto success.
Okay, I am going to say with a bunk of that degree, I'm going to say that's going to drop your difficulty by 3 because of the amount of time and effort you have to put into it.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so that brings me down to a difficulty of 5. Perfect. Hope for the best. 3 successes.
3 successes, not bad. Okay. Now I have to think of how to describe this. I was so into your description, I wasn't thinking all that hard about what it was. No, it's okay. It's good. This is good. This is awesome. As you begin to work, everybody else notices that Rowan's voice becomes commanding in a way that it is not typically. He goes from very soft-spoken, very almost genteel in his manner, to having this note of command and this presence to him that he almost never has. His eyes begin to glow, and he has this look that he could kind of cut you with a glance if he wanted to. He is invoking an incredibly powerful form of an incredibly powerful art. Naming is not a small thing. Anyone with even 1 dot in Greymare knows that. And he is working in a room that is heavy with raw glamour. So there is a risk to this, but thankfully, Rowan is experienced in what he does. And as he begins to work, Rowan, you look down and you watch as the page before you, with that line, once upon a time, that line never changes, but the rest of the page does begin to change. And you watch as the first page of various stories, all of them Arthurian in nature, begin to, they form and then they dissolve, and then they form and a different one forms and then it dissolves. And what stands out to you the most is that as the words begin to fade away, always the last word, the last words in the ones that are being changed over and over again are names. And the names should be Sir Lancelot, Sir Gawain, Sir Kay, Sir Ector, Sir Bedivere, all of these names. But instead of those names being there, it looks like it'll say one name. And then as it begins to fade, you are sure that it shifts to the names of either yourself or one of your motley before it disappears. And the feeling that you get from looking at this is that you are being prompted. The books are there to prompt you to write your own stories in the fashion of the Arthurian legends.
Good heavens, I say as I stare at the book. whoever or whatever is doing this wants us to write our own stories in the fashion of the Arthurian legends that came before.
Wow.
I certainly
Crunch on one of the cookies.
I certainly hope that they don't expect me to write in the style of Mallory.
What's wrong with Mallory?
I always found it very matter-of-fact, honestly. Not that I blame them. It was written 1,000 years ago before, proper expression had really been developed.
So does that mean that we're going on a quest?
Storyteller, when you say write our own legends, do you mean literally write or experience it?
Yes.
Well,
I should be more specific. You get the feeling that experiencing it will, in fact, write the story.
I see.
That you cannot have one without the other.
Yes, Elodie, I do believe it means we are going on a quest.
There's already been fighting shadows, and a dead king, and a fair maiden has gone missing. Oh my gosh!
Wait, a dead king?
Oh, yes, that also should have been mentioned. Yes, the king is dead.
We all buried the lead.
Look,
Heavens.
a lot of stuff happened yesterday.
I crunch on another cookie.
Rowan, it is worth noting, technically speaking, there are multiple kings, and they haven't specified.
King.
Oh, yeah, that is right.
There are multiple kings.
There are multiple kings.
High King David is dead.
My king. Oh, good Lord. Well, if this is at all connected to that, perhaps we better get on with it.
Oh, by the by, Excalibur is missing. Allegedly, we don't quite know where it is right now.
Of course it is.
And David's not just dead, he was actively murdered. Like, his blood was still warm when they found his body.
Rowan, I'm not going to make you roll to put two and two together.
Right.
When they say Excalibur, they mean Caliburn of the Dreaming's Heart.
Right.
But you're enough of a fantasy nerd to know that Excalibur and Caliburn are names for the same sword.
Yeah, and I'll call Greymare 3 as well.
Yeah.
I have a hunch on something.
What's that?
Hey, Elodie, can you draw something for me?
Yaha.
I'm gonna describe to Elodie the woman I saw in my dream. I have a guess as to who she might be, but I could be so very wrong.
Okay. This feels roll-worthy, because how you describe it and how Elodie interprets it could be very different things. So I'm gonna want a charisma and expression from you. And I would like Elodie to give me wits and crafts.
Difficulty 6?
Standard diff. Oh, that's a botch. That's a botch on Elodie's part.
Never mind then.
Well, no, I still want you to roll because other people are listening.
2 successes.
Okay.
My creative juices aren't flowing, okay?
Stands behind them, it's just looking at it, goes, that's not what she said.
Elodie starts crying.
Quit drawing Kiera.
That is funny.
Elodie, you are struggling to make sense of what she's saying. Part of it may be the fact that she is describing someone who is literally underwater and caught in active currents. So it feels like every time you start to draw, Georgie changes her approach to how she describes things and you get confused. And it ends up different from how she pictures it. Georgie, as you are describing things, the people around you all kind of clue in on a couple of things. You had a very hard time making out the face of the young woman. But as you describe her, everybody kind of realizes, and this is kind of funny because of Crook teasing Elodie, everybody kind of realizes all at once that the description that you are giving could be Kiera. Like, you're not sure because you didn't get a good look at her face, but it could be the same person.
So when Crook says stop drawing Kiera, Elodie's shut up! Shut up! Aren't we supposed to be finding her or something? Heck, why am I drawing? I throw the sketchbook down. This is stupid. I'm eating more cookies.
You know, I did see, or at least I thought I saw Kiera a couple of times in my vision. There was, I was in a large medieval feasting hall. At my side was a young man who looked to be about late teens, early 20s, who I instinctively knew was my son. But then there was a younger boy, about maybe 12 to 15 years old, who came up and refilled my goblet as well as my erstwhile son's. But every time I looked at the boy, he looked like a different person. And there were times that he resembled a younger version of High King David. Other times, he actually looked like he was Kiera. And then, actually, Elodie, sometimes the boy resembled you.
Are you saying I look like a boy?
I'm saying, well, this boy shifted appearance and gender.
I'd be okay looking like a boy. Was I a pretty boy?
You looked like you. I don't cast aspersions on people's appearance necessarily. I also did see this, and he points to the gingerbread cookie that is done up like the round table with the swords.
I have a working theory.
Yes, what is it?
If we're all seeing none of the identities in any of the legends we're trying to pin down are solid, right?
That is correct.
Because we haven't done them yet. Elodie could be Arthur as much as she could be the Squire to Gawain, yes?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we haven't written the story, so the story does not yet know what form to take.
Well, unless I can find someone's girlfriend to make out with, I can't really do anything as Lancelot yet. But maybe pick a legend and try to recreate it.
That's definitely worth trying. I have to wonder if the intention isn't more to create an entirely new story that is in the spirit of Arthur. I think both ideas are just as viable.
I want to slay a dragon.
Well, there was a roar of a dragon in that prophecy, so I'm sure that may happen.
Yes.
I will
Maybe
say...
that's where Kiera is.
I will say some of the words of the prophecy came back to me as I woke this morning, and it does seem to line up with High King David's death at the very least. The line, the High One's light shall dim and fade. But after that, it mentioned something about a debt being paid, so whatever happened to the High King, don't want to assume things, but I suspect he may have suspected that it was going to be coming.
Maybe it wasn't his debt.
That's also possible. No way to really know until, I guess, looking into it further. But as Rowan has said, one thing at a time. So I suppose we should talk about Kiera now.
I was just going to put forward the theory, actually, that Kiera's disappearance might be the debt repaid. Although I do think that High King David's death could very well also be a debt repaid.
We've all lived like a bunch of lives, right?
We have.
That's what you said. That's what's in my notebook.
Indeed, we have.
So, like, if I was a jerk, like 3 lives ago, and someone that I was a jerk to, like 2 lives ago, realizes that we're the same guy, they could be like, oh, you owe me. And technically I didn't do it, but I did it. So maybe that's what's going on.
There are those changelings who can remember their past lives with far more clarity than most. That is certainly possible, although politics do play out within single mortal lifetimes as well. So the debt might have been incurred much sooner than that, or more recently than that.
Maybe I could ask I mean my secret contact.
Yes, the secret contact that you have mentioned the nickname of before.
No, I haven't.
Just hearing Vic, I give a wry smile.
Sorry, what was the question?
No question so far.
Oh, I thought Rowan asked a question. My bad. Continue.
I suspect Kiera's father may come back soon to at least try to get a reading as to where she is. I suppose I should probably start getting ready for that.
You need help?
No, I don't think so, but if it is needed, I will make sure to. Well, I can't yell. I'll let you know.
Text me.
That can work.
If no one needs me for any other matters in order to prepare for his arrival, I will make sure that there is ample tea and coffee and refreshments ready.
I should clean up all the egg from this morning. I don't clean as I go.
Gosh.
That would be appreciated, my dear.
Worth noting,
Yes, Crook.
no one knows how C found High King David when he went missing, or what happened while he was gone.
The details shall remain with me then.
Lots of things could happen. Lots of things could happen in there that could be considered debts to be paid.
True. How did we come by that information about High King David?
Which information?
Oh, Rowan is asking the rest of the motley about how they found out that High King David was murdered.
That was through the contact.
I asked my secret contact.
And Rowan taps his nose knowingly in a way that nobody's done since the 19th century.
You are Santa.
Well, more on that later. And I am going to get to work making tea and baking and making sure that at the very least, anybody who comes for this investigation is going to be well fed.
Okay. What is everybody else doing?
I have a very stupid idea.
Does it involve sock puppets?
Actually, probably could do it with sock puppets, but
I just pull out my sock puppets and go, mwah, 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 mwah.
why do you have those still?
Because I keep them in my pocket since you rudely evicted them from our apartment.
Oh.
Also, someone needs to give me a ride to Target.
Why?
I need to get new socks.
I can give you a ride later, my dear. If you wouldn't mind helping me take a few things out of the trunk when we return.
Also, pretty sure you were explicitly told not to get Target socks.
I remember I was given money and told to get socks, and Target was mentioned.
I mean, they are Target is a little bit pricey these days, so
He's
I
going to
have
break up with me.
significant ADHD, so I'm very impressed that I remembered that much.
I'm gonna casually text Carter and ask where he gets his socks. Super normal things to text your situationship.
But yeah, what do you need help with?
Well, first of all, socks. I do want to test this play acting theory. Unless Rowan needs your help.
Rowan, I can help you later, right?
Well,
We're going to clean up your mess first.
it is a little difficult to manage things with all these dishes in the sink, my dear. If you need to take care of that though, and help Georgina, then I can take care of it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And Rowan gets to work washing the dishes.
Excellent. Rowan disappears into the back where nobody can see him, and he can do boggin things without any issues. Secretly, he was praying that Elodie would get distracted and go do something else because things move so much faster when nobody's watching.
And I shirk responsibility again.
Georgina, you get a text message back that says, I adore you, but it's nowhere you can afford. Don't worry about replacing the ones that she destroyed.
Ooh.
Ow.
He just called us broke.
We are broke.
But you don't have to say it.
Nordstrom. Nordstrom gives an air of maybe fancy rich.
I could definitely find something fancy at like TJ Maxx, maybe Bloomingdale's.
Yeah, for a mom.
Target.
But Target's expensive now. We call it Target.
Oh my god.
That's why Target works.
I'm going outside.
I text back, I'll make it up to you later.
Winky face is all you get back.
Does anyone have a sword by any chance?
Do I have a sword?
No.
No, like could I have like one of those foam LARP swords?
A boffer sword?
It does feel like something that Elodie
It feels like something that Elodie would have, but it also feels like something that Elodie would be forbidden to have because Elodie is a ball of chaos and things would get broken.
Might I negotiate one of those foam swords that you get from pirate Halloween costumes that are basically a pool noodle?
I got it. One Christmas, Rowan gave you a Minecraft foam sword.
Yeah, sure. I can't not allow that now.
So I'll say, of course I have a sword. It's diamond.
And then she takes off up the stairs. But before we get to her coming back down, Crook, you said you were stepping outside?
I am.
What are you doing?
I'm calling Godric.
Okay. There's a couple of rings before Godric answers hello.
Hey,
Hey.
how are things?
Busy. How are you?
Everything's stupid.
Okay. Do you want to
We
be
got
more
attacked.
specific?
We
What?
got attacked last night. We got attacked last night.
We who?
Our house, my coffee shop, my freehold, got attacked.
Okay. Okay. And you're okay. Everybody else is okay?
Yeah. They
Well,
learned
who
better.
did it?
I don't know. Spooky McShadowface.
What?
I could explain it all over the phone while I'm standing out here on the street, but that'd make me look stupider than I already feel.
All right, Crook. What do you need me to do?
If you want the details, I either need to come to you or you need to come to me.
I will come to you.
Okay.
I can be there in like an hour and a half.
Take your time. Rowan's cooking up something. I'm sure it'll be tasty.
It always is. Click. Anything else?
He will walk back in. He will look at, I guess, it's Georgie and Sigrun still down there. It's like, Godric Leonin is coming over to talk. I did not tell him about the Rhodeses. I don't intend to tell him about the Rhodeses, so someone put duct tape over Elodie's mouth while he's here.
Well, I'm going to take Elodie outside. We're going to see if we can do something stupid.
Okay.
At that moment, I'm going to bounce down the stairs with a hat with ear flaps, mittens, an extra scarf, because otherwise Rowan will yell at me, and a Minecraft sword in my hand. And I look like a goddamn hero.
Unless you want to be Arthur Crook.
The look he gives you could curdle milk. No.
Sigrun? Oh, you're working.
I wouldn't be a good Arthur anyway.
Well, you'd make a lovely Gwen.
Oh, thank you. That is quite kind of you.
Once and
All right.
future king. Once and future king. Once and future king.
All right, my plan is to do a little play acting outside. We can make a stone out of snow.
As Elodie is playing with her Minecraft sword, you just hear her making the Minecraft eating sound, just going...
Elodie, you're a constant nightmare in misophonia.
Thank you. I don't know what that means.
You're fine.
Let's go outside. Tally ho. And I point with the sword and I rush out into the slush.
How far are we from the river?
You're a decent bit away. It's not like it's right there.
So we're just gonna do this out here then. This is
Okay.
insane. This is deeply insane. Let me tell you this right now. This is deeply insane what I'm doing.
We're just putting it in the snow.
You're gonna have to describe what you're doing.
Yeah, so Georgie starts to build a stone, like an anvil, out of snow. If there's enough of it.
I mean, it's dirty. It's not pleasant, but yeah, you can scrounge up enough from like the sides of the streets and stuff like that.
Perfect. It's the same color. When that's finished, I will jam the Minecraft sword into it.
It's beautiful.
It immediately begins to take on water because it is foam. You watch as it begins to swell slightly and get darker in color as it absorbs the water from the slush.
Nasty. Oh God, what does he say? You watched Merlin. What does he say for this bit?
I don't know. The
Wait, no, don't say it. Okay, I'll do it.
Wait, what? I thought I was Arthur.
Because you're Arthur.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you to do the thing, right?
Okay, tell me to do the thing.
Do the thing. No, hold on. He who pulls the sword of the stone will be the future king of England? Is that right? I think that's right. I did not pay a lot of attention in class.
Probably. And I reach and I grab the sword and I go, anime.
So Elodie reaches over, wraps her hand around the hilt of the quote-unquote hilt of this sword, yanks it up out of the slush, and begins to anime swing it around like it is some big fancy shiny thing. And as she does so, begins to splatter you with water from the slush that the foam has begun to absorb.
Jesus.
It's filthy. And nothing happens.
I was hoping to use a little bit of chicanery to see if I could make it more swordy.
I mean, you're certainly welcome to try.
but I don't think I can. It's possible that I'm wrong and that this is all stupid, but I'm gonna do it again. Put the sword back in the snow.
What could make it more swordy than this? It's made out of pure diamonds, Georgie.
Swords aren't made out of diamonds.
Fine, and I shove it back in the snow. Rowan's not gonna get me another one.
All right, now this is insane. Again, would Trick of the Light make it look a little more swordy?
Well, let me look. A subtle manipulation of glamour to muddle perceptions. Trick of the Light creates misunderstandings and mistakes. Sure. Here's the thing. The only ones around, as far as you are aware right now, are you and Elodie. There isn't really anybody to fool.
But I could fool Elodie.
I was going to say Elodie is already aware that it's not a real sword, but then I thought about it and realized
it is a real sword.
Elodie would 100% buy into the idea that this is a real sword.
Yeah,
I'm full of childlike whimsy.
I'm full of childlike whimsy. I'll allow it.
Again, if this doesn't work, because I'm pretty sure it's not going to work, this is a huge waste of time, but a fun scene.
I'm just having a great time. This is better than just waiting around to see if Sigrun can find Kiera.
Godric or whoever is going to come in watching us playing King Arthur in the snow. Yeah.
That's off brand for me.
All right, how do I do this? Pull up the guide. Yeah, well, let me see if I can afford... Well, I can affect Fae.
Do you have,
I have chicanery, Fae, and prop.
So you have prop.
I do.
Yeah, you could do it.
Heck yeah.
And you roll, it's a difficulty 8 starting unless you do a bunk. And it is your art plus your lowest rated primary realm, so prop.
All right, and then for the bunk, because we're already fuck it. Georgie actually takes dirty snow water and pours it over the sword, and then also flicks it in Elodie's face.
Disgusting.
And then you hear her hum a little bit of a song. And that should puts the sword back into the snow.
I will allow that to drop your difficulty by 1 to a 7.
I was like, I'm not doing something crazy.
What was that for?
Shush, doing magic.
It got in my mouth.
Good. You're lucky it's not in your ears, too. This is gonna be bad. This is a bad roll. Wait, I can use a willpower to succeed, can't I?
It'll give you 1 success, yes.
All right, I'd like to use a willpower to do that, because I roll like shit. My pool is literally just the one for my lowest, right?
Your art rating plus your lowest realm, which is prop.
Well, this is bad. 2 successes.
2 successes, and you didn't spend willpower?
And I didn't spend the willpower yet.
Well done. Well, you have to spend willpower when you roll.
I did not spend the willpower. I didn't click the thing.
Yeah. It certainly looks like a sword, kinda, that has been shoved into a kinda stone. Elodie, when you look at it, it's a little bit like the most vivid game of pretend you've ever played, because you look in 1 minute, it is a foam Minecraft sword stuck into a mound of dirty snow, and the next minute it is a weird lopsided stone with a proper sword sticking out of it that looks heavy.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. How'd you do that?
magic. Now, and I like Georgie kind of puts her hair over her mouth so it looks kind of like a beard. Whoever pulls the sword from the stone shall become the future king.
So it's my destiny to follow in David's footsteps, and I reach for the sword handle, and I go. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Elodie, for a moment, your hands wrap around it, and it feels like you are holding on to the hilt of a proper sword, and it feels heavy and stuck fast as you try to tug up on it as casually as you did before. And you find that you have to put like your whole back into it.
Lift with your legs.
And at first it seems to resist, and then it comes free like really, really quickly, and you stumble backward and topple over into the snow on the sidewalk.
Ow! What? Did it work? Am I the king now?
Well, now we go inside and we check a journal.
Okay, my pants are wet.
Well, good thing we live upstairs.
Yeah, but I'm gonna track in gunk and I'm unhappy.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to carry you in?
No, then you'll get all covered in like gunk too, and that's not fun for anyone.
Let's just go inside.
Okay, and I'm gonna hop up, immediately forgetting my distress, and skip inside.
You come skipping back inside. Crook, you see Elodie carrying her Minecraft sword, except that it is darker and is kind of swollen with like dirty water, and it is dripping all over the place. Her pants are soaked, but she looks happy.
I'm coming by with a tray of muffins at that exact moment, and I say, avoid the Axminster rug, please.
Okay.
Elodie, do you know what an Axminster rug is?
Oh,
No.
she does. 100%.
Rowan has told you 1,000,000 times.
She has been educated.
I don't know
It's
what
that
it
one.
is, but I know which it is.
Yes, there we go.
And I scurry upstairs to change.
I'm gonna find one of the journals that has replaced our books.
Okay. There's no roll required.
And
Go ahead.
no, please. If nothing has been written, I'm gonna start writing.
Okay. You pull several of them down to look to see if there's any words in them, and they all appear to be blank. So you begin to write. Georgina, you are writing in one of the blank journals. I would like an idea of how and what you are writing.
Rowan's a much better writer than I am. This is not I don't make art, I fix it. So I'm trying my best to kind of write like a Once Upon a Time style. But basically I start from like Once Upon a Time, there was a young woman, and I'm writing about Elodie, and I'm trying to squish in what I remember of the Sword and the Stone legend into it. Kind of ending with the like, and then Elodie pulled the sword from the stone, pulled the sword from the stone, for she was the once and future king. Which is bad. This is a bad idea.
You just made a kid the president.
I did.
Roll me. I need to look at your sheet. I have to see what Georgina has.
I'm
roll
not
me
an artist.
Roll me intelligence and Greymare.
All right.
Difficulty 6.
Do I believe that I can pass this roll? I've been doing okay this whole time. I'm gonna spend a willpower to get an auto success for 1. And I did spend the willpower. I clicked the button and everything.
Okay.
Do I just type willpower true?
Yes.
3 successes.
So you are writing, and as you write, You are desperately trying to get everything out of your head and down onto the paper and to make it sound decent. And you realize a couple of paragraphs in, about halfway down the page, that as you are writing, the lines that you have put down are fading at the top. Slowly but surely, as you add a line, the line at the top, the topmost line that is still there begins to disappear.
Shit. I finished what I'm writing. I finished the entire thing, and it's all disappeared.
Yeah. Within a couple of minutes, it's all gone.
It was worth a shot.
Is something the matter over there, my dear? I'm sorry.
And the topmost line is just once upon a time.
I was hoping it would be enough just to fake it. I tried to make Elodie king.
Well, I'm sure it was a valiant effort.
I did okay.
Don't sell yourself short. I'm sure it was wonderful. I'll ask Elodie later. I'm sure she'll tell me all about it.
I don't think you need the prompting. What are you making?
Yes, I'm making some morning glory muffins, just some bits and bobs that were left over from the things for the customers. Here, try one, and I hand one over.
Yeah, Georgie will always take Rowan food, so yes. Just inhales a muffin.
And it's still nice and warm. It's got that freshly baked, smell to it.
Georgie eats fast enough that you aren't entirely sure that she didn't, that she tasted it, but yes.
He already has another one ready for you.
Hell yeah. So it's not enough to pretend. Hold on. It's not enough to pretend to do this, I guess.
It would appear not. The insight I got from the naming art did indicate to me that we would need to live it, as well as basically that would allow the thinking of the wording here, that would allow it to manifest on the page. It's similar to the never-ending story, I think. More so the book than the film, I should clarify. In that we are the creators are the impetus for allowing the story to exist.
Not to sound, banal or anything, but I don't have time to be a knight. I have to be at work tomorrow.
I understand. Well, perhaps we don't need to be knights per se, but just try going on a quest.
Again, quest conflicts with the work schedule thing.
Indeed. Well,
Crook is already a knight. Why can't he do it?
True.
I end up in a box trying to call myself Bastion Bartholomew Bucks. I'm blaming both of you.
You'd chew your way out.
She's not wrong, Crook.
Georgina?
Yes?
Make me a perception and alertness roll.
Why?
Because I told you to.
I know. Standard diff?
Yes, ma'am.
I've been trained. I have to ask every time.
It's not a terrible impulse to have.
While this roll is happening, I make sure Crook gets a muffin.
You and your evil baked goods.
Why did my
Thank
brain
you.
forget what standard difficulty is? Standard difficulty is
6.
6.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions, Crook.
3 successes.
As Rowan turns away to hand Crook a muffin, you catch movement out of the corner of your eye where the book is sitting on the counter.
Immediately go after the book.
New words have formed on the pages. And those words are Fresh western wind, oh blow us home, my Irish child, where do you roam? And as soon as you read it, the words fade away.
Shit. Shit.
Why?
Do it again. Fuck. How do you fresh western wind? Fuck. I think I got a part of a prophecy. No, that doesn't sound like the prophecy we heard.
Would you like to make a memory check to see if you can recall it?
Clara's trying to do it. Nope, it's gone. Yeah, I'll take the memory check.
Give me intelligence and we'll do intelligence and alertness. That's fine.
Man.
I don't suppose you have eidetic, do you?
No, I considered taking it and then I didn't because I was like, Georgie doesn't need eidetic memory. That'd be wild. When would she use that?
Difficulty 6 is fine.
One success.
One success.
Wait, I gotta figure out what lucky does.
I believe lucky gives you extra rolls, does it not?
It does. Only botched rolls.
I'm afraid that won't help you here.
One success then.
With one success, I will say you get the first 2 lines. Fresh western wind, oh blow us home.
I think I remember the second half, but I can't guarantee it.
What do you think it is?
My Irish child, where do you roam? Or something.
Anybody who is in the room who has academics can feel free to roll me intelligence and academics.
Would a specialty medieval history help at all?
No.
Okay.
Not for this.
Would a specialty in art history help?
Yes.
Would a specialty in poetry help?
Yes.
What?
Would a specialty in just regular history help?
No.
I flounced down the stairs. What's happening?
We're gonna say this is a difficulty 7 roll.
And our specialties give us an additional...
You just get to put in your specialty, and what it does is if you roll a 10, it doubles your 10s. Like it just did for Crook. 3 dice gave him 5 successes. That is truly a wild roll.
I'm throwing willpower on.
Yes!
What is happening?
5 successes.
Oh my god. Sigrun?
I'm not gonna roll.
Sigrun's like, I don't care.
Yeah, the joke was like, I was gonna, essentially it was gonna be, Secret's probably downstairs preparing, but she would have come up and is like, oh, do you need me for something? Oh, never mind, I'm gonna go back to what I'm doing.
For those watching at home who might be curious, Crook has a die pool of 3 for intelligence and academics. He got 5 successes because he has a specialty.
Unreal.
In poetry. Explain that later, please.
No.
Angry people love poetry.
Georgie has a pool of 6 and got 6 successes, despite one of them being a 1. So it would have been 7 successes if it weren't for that 1. And Rowan had a pool of 7 and got 5 successes, which is not bad at all.
For funsies, can I just roll my intelligence and see what happens?
If you would like to, sure.
Elodie,
Yay.
perfect. Never change, Elodie.
I suck.
Elodie, you have no idea what they're talking about.
What do you think? New outfit? Good saving the world outfit? Good king outfit?
Gosh.
Okay, so all 3 of you rolled 5 and above, so you all get the same information. These are the opening lines to Tristan and Isolde in the Wasteland by Richard Wagner.
Translated, obviously.
Yes, translated from the original German into English. It seems that the dreaming is at least being kind and translating for you. These are the opening lines sung by one of the sailors on the ship.
But why?
Sorry, Tristan and Isolde in where?
In the Wasteland.
In the Wasteland, thank you.
Is it? That's not Arthurian. That's a different thing, right?
Weren't Tristan and Isolde part of the Arthurian legends, though?
They were.
They were they? They were.
Yes.
Yes, I believe it was. Sorry.
No, go.
I believe it was featured in one of the chapters of Le Morte d'Arthur.
It's not a good chapter.
Well, I mean, it is still a chapter, and we know that even things that are tertiarily connected. I may have just invented a word there, which I must immediately unmake. But yes, it's in there all the same, good or no.
All right.
Crook is going to pull out his phone and pull up a copy of T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland, which mentions or has allusions to Tristan and Isolde in it.
Mm-hmm.
Far down the rabbit hole did this go?
What exactly are you trying to look up?
I'm trying to see if the verses that reference Tristan and Isolde are still there or look different or something has gone weird with them.
Something weird goes on with them because you can Google The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot and you can see that there are results, but when you attempt to click on to one of the websites to pull it up, every single website times out.
His grunts of agitation become progressively more feral as he moves from site to site.
Right.
Is something the matter, Sir Crook?
Do you have any Eliot on the shelf?
I did. I doubt it's there now.
That's really obscure, though.
Well, you are free to look. I can assist if you need to. Let me just ensure that the coffee isn't going to burn or overcook at all.
So if we're... someone else do something crazy.
Seeing that I am of no help with the Think people, I'm going to brave the basement.
Okay. Would you like to be more specific?
I'm going to head down and see what Sigrun is up to.
Sigrun, what are you up to?
I do think when she first went to the basement, I think she's going to go to her computer and send an email to what is Homegirl's name? Oh my goodness. I have it. Cecilia, her former coworker, and without obviously outing Faye shenanigans, just check in at work and see if any weird things have happened.
Okay. You've been down there long enough that I'll say that you have gotten an answer back by now. Not really, but it's Sunday, so it's my day off. If anything weird's happened, I wouldn't hear about it until I get there tomorrow.
That's fair. She'll just reply back. Sounds good. Just, I've heard that King Arthur's stories have been very popular. Just wanted to check to see if there's any in stock. Just let me know if you know. But she'll finish that conversation and then she's going to start getting stuff in place for essentially doing some bunks whenever the Rhodes get here.
You get back, sure. I'll check as soon as I get in tomorrow.
Bless. I think when Elodie gets down, you see that Sigrun is pulling out bundles of yarn. Just bundles of yarn in random places.
What you doing?
Preparing. This may require some delicate weaving, and so best to reenact the magics that my kind, my own, tend to draw from, and so string, weaving silks, that type of work.
I can crochet a hat.
It is more so, it would have to be done after Sir Crook's colleague leaves, but it's going to essentially be a mess of the upstairs rooms. It would be essentially what's the best way to put this? TPing a house, but with string.
Rowan's gonna get mad.
You'll understand.
And the string will lead you to Kiera? Like Ariadne in the labyrinth?
I think that, yes, that's the best way to try to pull onto it. Look, we'll have to see what type of items the Rhodes bring with her that are tied to Kiera. I don't think the tarot cards will help in this matter, but I think the tides that bind, I think that may be the best course of action.
Miss Kiera.
I do miss her too. She was a very kind one. I hope that she is at least safe.
I'm sorry. I didn't protect you guys. And that's... Crook thinks that's his job, but that's really my job.
I believe there is no sense of thinking back on what could and couldn't be done. What matters is what we do moving forward to enact, to make sure that wrongs are righted, whether it be for Kiera or for whatever this prophecy foretells for us.
Well, you need anything from upstairs? They're all doing their smart stuff.
If you could, whether you or if you want to request Rowan to do it, put some water on for some jasmine tea.
Okay, I can do that. And she scurries back up the stairs.
And I think besides the yarn, she'll have her tarot cards set to the side. Just going to be like a nice pocket of just light that filters through, just one small pocket of light, and it's just for the tarot cards. No other light source really comes in here. So she'll have them off to the side to just have them just get the energy in there just in case they're needed. But I think she's mainly making sure that she gets everything in place to set a scene.
Okay. Is there anything anyone else would like to do in the time leading up to when others start to arrive? Okay. I'm going to take the silence as a no. Jumping forward a bit. About half an hour after Georgie and Elodie's little tromp out into the snow, there is a knock at the door of the coffee shop. And a quick glance outside shows that it is Lord Rhodes, who looks like he hasn't slept a wink.
I head immediately over to the door to let him in and say, "Good morning, my lord. Please come in. Terribly sorry to hear of what happened last night."
Thank you, Rowan. We've been combing the city, and no one can find a single sign of her.
We will, of course, do everything that we can to assist. In the meantime, can I get you anything? It looks as though you're quite underslept. Coffee, perhaps?
Coffee would be wonderful.
Of course, right away. And I presume I know how he takes it.
You do. He doesn't come in here super often, but he is like the local noble. Like your shop is in his fiefdom.
Yeah.
So you've served him enough to know at least the basics. Which is that he takes it black with 2 sugars.
black with 2 sugars, and I make sure that he has some of the freshest goods that have just come out of the oven.
Excellent. Is Sigrun home?
She is, yes. She is downstairs preparing something that will hopefully locate where your daughter has gone.
Okay. Do I go downstairs or is she coming upstairs?
Did Sigrun indicate one way or the other? I can't remember if she said.
She didn't, but in hindsight, she probably would have him go downstairs just because if Crook's person's going to be there and we should not tell him of what's happening with the Rhodeses, probably best to have them in separate areas.
Gotcha. Okay. I can escort you downstairs, my lord.
Thank you.
I lead the way. Sigrun, Lord Rhodes is here to see you.
Yes, come. Thank you for stopping by. I'm not going to... There's no need for pleasantries. I'm sure you're not doing great, so best to get on with this and see what we can find.
And Rowan also leaves the jasmine tea for Sigrun and then heads back upstairs.
Thank you. Be mindful of the strings. It's to help with pulling energy in.
And currently, the basement dwellings of Sigrun, it seems to be chaotic in nature, but if people look very closely at it, she has interconnecting yarn situated in different points in different corners of the living space, and it looks like it could be in a type of weaving, a web-like pattern, but at first glance it doesn't seem to really have a rhyme or reason.
Okay. All right. So my understanding from what you are planning to do is you want to use Seer's Wisp from Soothsay, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So this starts at difficulty 8, as usual. And it is your art plus Fae 2. So you have 4 dice.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on. How many dice do you have at Soothsay?
3. I have 3 dots.
So 5 dice.
Yep. And the strings are she's using the strings to help with to be a part of the bunking, and I think she's also going to make sure that no candles because don't want to start any fires, but she will have some incense laid out to help calm the senses as we're trying to pull due to soothsaying.
How? Here's my question.
Yes.
How? I would like a flavorful description of exactly, it doesn't have to be exact, but a flavorful description of what you did with the strings and whatnot for your bunk. I know that they are a part of it.
Yes.
But I would like you to describe what the bunk looks and feels like.
It's kind of... It remind me if this leans into the unleashing a little bit, but from my understanding for Sluas, their unleashing looks like spider silks reaching out. So in a way of kind of tapping into that type of energy of it, she's using the strings to mimic that spider silk of interconnecting weaving motions to draw into the power itself. So it either could be something that's mimicking it, or if so happens, it helps draw it out.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna let that give you a -1 to your difficulty, so it's gonna bring you down to a 7. So 5 dice, difficulty 7. You can spend willpower if you want auto successes.
Yes.
Or an auto success, I should say.
I will do a willpower.
Now, it is worth noting, and Sigrun would know this, that you have a limited timer on the wisp that you are about to create.
Mm-hmm.
The number of successes will determine how long it lasts.
Okay. And because she has dots in time, that does not affect this whatsoever, correct?
Actually, it would. Your dots in time, I believe, give you more time on how long it lasts.
Yep. And she has 2 dots, so it'll be up to an hour.
It will increase the difficulty by 1 to use that realm, though.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So back up to 8. Yeah, I think it's worth it.
The more successes rolled, the more direct and safer the path down which the wisp leads the changeling. This cantrip lasts only for 1 hour per dot of the seer's glamour. What's your glamour rating?
Let me see. I have 4 dots in glamour.
Okay. So if you have your 4 dots in glamour and you bring time into it to give yourself an extra hour, that's going to give you 5 hours. It is also worth noting that you can only use it to seek a single subject once per story. So for the rest of the season, you will not get to seek out Kiera with this cantrip. Not saying don't use it. I just want you to be aware,
right,
of what it means.
Okay. I think she'll do that. Yeah.
Okay. So make your roll.
Okay. So dice pool 5, difficulty 8, willpower true, and I can't add specialties into this, correct? Because I have clairvoyance as a specialty. Okay. Okay. Please. 3 success.
All right. For 3 successes, you will this wispy ball of silvery light into existence above your cupped hands, and you whisper to it the name Kiera Rhodes. As you do so, it begins to kind of pulse and spin, hovering above your hands, and then slowly begins to pull away from you and head for the stairs.
Right. Yeah. Following.
So does Lord Rhodes. As you all are, as you come up the stairs. Sorry, we've been corrected. Time 1 triples the duration of the cantrip, so it's actually 9 hours is how long it lasts, which is pretty good.
Okay.
You head up the stairs and into the coffee shop proper, where everybody else sees Sigrun with sunglasses over her eyes and a coat already on. And she and Lord Rhodes are following this bobbing mote of light that passes through the coffee shop and towards the door.
Is that leading you somewhere important?
Potentially to Kiera.
I drop what I'm doing and head over to get my coat and also provide an umbrella for Sigrun.
Ah, bless. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Elodie immediately trips into a jog to follow them out, ignoring the coat, ignoring everything except grabbing her Minecraft sword.
We're just going?
Kiera could be in trouble.
Also, we would not want to waste any duration on Sigrun's cantrip.
I gotta wait here for Godric. But if you run into trouble, call me and I'll come.
You got it, Kim Possible. Call you, beep you if you want to reach you.
Don't call me that.
I've set the tea and coffee to warm. 10 seconds if you want to microwave anything, but really it's better to. And
Just
my
go.
voice kind of trails off.
Rowan is still talking about the best ways to potentially handle reheating pastries as he steps out the door following Sigrun.
Exactly.
My dads don't see eye to eye, but they love me.
Go ahead.
Crook, if you need me to stay behind, I can get you to them if we need it.
We can get there. I don't know where you're going, so just go.
All right. And before we leave, Georgie's going to grab the chalk that we use to write specials on the board and head out.
Okay.
I'll ask Sigrun. Is this the speed that the ball usually moves at?
Yes, it usually moves at about walking speed.
Okay, good. Because I was about to say, I don't know. This is my first time casting.
This is the speed. Yes.
Of course. Only I would have offered the use of my car, but I imagine it's not going to help.
The thing that makes the difference with this particular spell is that the better you do at casting, the more powerful your casting is. The more direct the path it'll take. Mm-hmm. But you succeeded, but it wasn't like your most powerful cantrip you've ever cast. It wasn't the best you've ever done. So you're probably somewhere in the middle on how direct of a path it is taking you. And it seems like it is intent on taking you on a little bit of a merry romp across the city so far. So that's going to take a little while. In the meantime, we are going to bounce back to Crook, who stayed behind at the coffee shop. Crook?
Yes?
Is there anything you would like to do while you are waiting?
The only thing...
You can say no if the answer is no.
Yeah, the only thing he can think of to do, because it's been sticking in his head, because The Wasteland is one of his favorite poems, is he's going to try and write down as much of it as he can remember. But it's a stupid long poem, so it's not going to be much.
It is a very long poem. Let's do an into academics roll, unless you have eidetic.
I do not. Ooh. But since it is one of my favorites, I will spend a point of willpower. And that will be my only success.
Okay. You managed... Oh, go ahead.
I don't get much.
You managed to write down a few lines, but it is hard to remember it. You even, just on the off chance that your copy upstairs is still whole, go upstairs just to check, and it's frustratingly blank.
Alone in the house, he flips open his big Norton's anthology of poetry. He gets to the part where the poem weirdly switches to German, stops, there's nothing there, slaps the book closed, and just throws the book across the room.
Oh. You go back upstairs, or go back downstairs, and wait. Thankfully, you are not waiting overly long. Eventually, the knock comes at the door that you have been expecting, and a glance outside shows you that your contact is on the front stoop.
Why the
shivering
fuck is everyone
in the
knocking?
cold.
It's a shop. Come in!
As you get frustrated and yell at him to come in, you realize that nobody ever turned the sign to say that it was open.
Oh, for God's sake.
God.
Listen, nobody said, and I assumed that y'all were keeping things closed because of everything that was going on. So,
Honest mistake.
You open the door, and he comes in out of the cold. Crook,
You need a better coat.
I have a very, very nice car. It's just cold from the 5 steps from my car to your door.
Why you need a better coat? He pours him some coffee.
He takes the coffee and cups his hands around it to keep them warm. So what can I do for you? I'm sure you've heard.
I've heard some things. Look, You encountered anything involving King Arthur?
Like the story?
Yeah. Like anything related to the story, like the Disney Sword in the Stone stuff.
Should I have?
Well, specifically, no. We did some calling around last night, like every library in town, all their copies of Idols of the King, Once and Future King, Morte Darther, all of it gone. And,
Okay.
And it goes so far as like there's a line from opera by Wagner, right? It's related to Arthur in a T.S. Eliot poem. I got that upstairs. It's also gone.
Your book is gone?
No, the verses are gone.
Huh. Weird. Okay. Was there something you needed from me, or are you just...
I wanted to know if you'd seen anything like that, and I wanted to let you know what we had seen.
No, but I haven't exactly gone looking up King Arthur. Why are you looking up King Arthur?
Isn't Caliburn missing?
He goes a little stiff at that. How did you know that?
We went to Parliament yesterday.
Yeah, but nobody's supposed to know that.
Well, golly gee willikers, are you saying that people can't keep a secret in Fairy Society?
He kind of sighs a little bit. Listen, we don't need the panic that everybody and their mother knowing that sword is gone cause.
Okay. You know, I know. I think it's safe to say most people know.
I don't know about that, but what's your point? How did knowing that Caliburn is missing lead you to start looking up King Arthur?
One of the names for Excalibur. Like, I don't know much, but I know that much.
Sure, but that's a pretty big leap, Crook.
It's what I got.
Okay.
And Elodie's package of Merlin DVDs disappeared, and that kind of set us off.
Okay. I hadn't noticed, but I also hadn't been looking. I've been a little bit busy with trying to help deal with the inevitable chaos.
What? You, everything okay?
No. The High King is dead.
You need anything from me, my lord?
At this current moment? No.
Right.
Also, I hate it when you call me that.
Sometimes I have to remind you that you can ask me to do shit.
I am aware that I can ask you to do shit. I just don't have anything for you to do right now.
Right.
If
It's a big hullabaloo at Parliament. Is your mom okay?
Okay is a strong word. She's, let's say she's working her magic, but she's been up all night to do it, so...
Okay.
Everybody's trying to get their hands on as much information as possible. People are already making moves to try and position their houses in the most advantageous manner, trying to figure out if David's succession orders are going to be honored or not.
So, yeah, one question about that. If you were attacked by like a shadow coalescing in a corner, growing bright red eyes, and then trying to beat you to death, who would you blame?
That is an incredibly specific description.
I had a really rough night last night. I bit one. It tasted a bit like eating Vicks Vapor Rub.
Okay. You buried the lead a little bit here, Crook. You were talking to me about DVDs a minute ago, and now you're telling me that you've been attacked by shadows?
I told you we were attacked last night, and I was going to give you the details when you got here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, who would I blame there's a long list of potential people who could do that. Well, not people, but there's a long list of what could potentially cause that.
Okay.
There are my understanding, there are prodigals that have control over shadows. And there are prodigals that can sometimes take forms in the physical world. They don't normally get to come here, but sometimes there are some that can take forms in the physical world that seem like they could come across as very shadow-like, especially to someone like us, where just being around us means that to some degree there is an amount of dream stuff in the air. Could warp and alter our perceptions of what they actually look like, not to mention other people's perceptions of what they look like. And I imagine there are some people among changeling society who might have power like that, though I don't know anyone personally. Mm-hmm. And there is always the possibility that the dreaming itself sent them.
Figure the dreaming itself would have sent someone tougher. We kind of kicked their ass.
He shrugs a little bit. Maybe the point wasn't to hurt you. We're creatures of story, Crook. That may have been a warning shot off the bow.
Maybe.
If
want a muffin? Yes.
Is that one of Rowan's muffins, or is this one of the ones that? Excellent. Yes, I would like a muffin. He takes the muffin as you hand it to him. Always eager to have Rowan's home cooking. If this has anything to do with what happened to High King David, you need to understand a few things. The correlation between Caliburn and Excalibur. Yes, same name. Very similar swords. Very similar stories. Very similar legends.
I said
the sword goes missing when there isn't someone worthy of wielding it. It shows up only to the one who is meant to have it. That's why it's such a big deal, that not everybody know that it's gone.
Speaking of secrets, does anyone in the house remember anything of the prophecy that everyone spouted out?
I was present. I wasn't one of the people who said the prophecy. I managed to get down a couple lines of it.
What did you get? Our Slua got a few.
But you guys were here.
No, she got it. She was looking into it this morning. This is after.
I didn't think anyone outside of the Parliament everybody knows that it happened, but I didn't. I didn't know that anyone outside of the Parliament knew already.
We showed up in Parliament yesterday, and everybody's walking out the other way and talking about probably a bunch of stuff they weren't supposed to be. They were all in shock.
Crook, I think I'm gonna need you to make a manipulation and subterfuge roll.
You bet.
Because you've been lying through your teeth this whole time. I will allow cunning to apply. Godric knows you pretty well, so I'm gonna make this a difficulty 7 roll.
Okay. I also know exactly what I'm getting myself into here, so I am spending a point of willpower. Yes, 2
successes. Okay, you get the feeling that he suspects that there's more to this than you are letting on, but he's not going to push you for now. He seems... Let's just say that Crook is, for a moment, very grateful that Godric likes him and isn't a dick. Because he could just command you to tell him. And he is choosing to trust you, from what you can tell. You had a question before I had you roll. I apologize. What was it?
I don't even remember.
Okay. I got a couple of lines of the prophecy. I can give them to you, but you have to remember that this doesn't go out to the general public.
Sure. But you're not the general public, so I can share what we got.
Yeah, okay. Works for me. And he pulls out a notepad from his pocket, and reads it out. Reads out what he got, and it's kind of a hodgepodge. Like he's got a line from a couple of stanzas. He's got most of one stanza. The nearly full stanza that he gets is the crownless stand with eyes of fire as chaos fuels their heart's desire. Old bonds shall break, new pacts be sworn as heroes rise and hope is born. He doesn't have every single word, but you can he has enough that you can fill in the blanks.
And I will pass him back the last two lines of the first and second stanza that Sigrun got this morning.
Well, the high one's light shall dim and fade is pretty clear.
I've had a question about that I didn't want to ask when anyone else is here. Does anyone know anything about how Cersei found David?
No. And you can tell he's being dead serious. No, nobody knows. Cersei, as soon as David was returned and reunited with his queen, everybody turned around to speak to Cersei, and he was just gone. It was like he disappeared the second nobody was looking at him. And he's an Eshu, so that's not really one of their typical powers. And nobody's seen him since. Of course, nobody knew who the hell he was before he showed up, is my understanding of the histories.
I just can't help wondering who's dead and how is it paid.
I don't know. I wish I knew. Do you have anything else you need from me?
No, I wanted to pass along what we knew and give you those and show you I'm doing my due diligence.
Well, I appreciate it. I will keep these in mind and let you know if I find anything else. Listen, this is all a really big deal, Crook. This could be another war. We haven't had a war since the 90s, but this could be it all over again.
It would be unfortunate.
So don't fuck around with things if you don't have to. That's all I'm saying. You've never struck me as the type who wants to get into the middle of the politics of it all. But you go digging and you will end up in the middle of it.
I love my coffee and my motley. Care very much about them. And I have a duty to you and your mother.
Yeah. Okay. Just be safe. Safe as you can anyway. I gotta get back. Mom's gonna run herself into the ground if she's left to do it all on her own.
Here, take some muffins. Otherwise, Elodie will just eat them all. Save one for your mom.
I will save one for my mother. And he heads for the door. Back with the rest of the group. You all have been on a merry jaunt across the city. It is cold. There is snow everywhere. Old snow, but still snow. And you are taking a somewhat circuitous route where every so often you will go from being on a straight shot on the street to hanging a hard left down an alley to pass between blocks onto another street. It seems like the Wisp is trying to give you shortcuts at some points and not at others, and it's hard to tell what the rhyme or reason is or even where you're going. What does become clear, however, is that you are headed for the outskirts of the city.
It's taking us out of the city, or at least leading out. I don't know how much farther we can keep going, but I'm willing to continue as long as the magic allows.
Well, I'm no athlete, of course, but I will walk with you as long as is necessary. I can certainly get us transportation back into the city afterwards. Question for BP. Is there any chance that we are heading in the same direction that estate sale was at, that I was away at, being that I heard the prophecy all the way out there?
I guess kind of very vaguely, but it doesn't seem like you were headed specifically there, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Thank you.
While we're running, or jaunting, I guess, can I make a phone call?
Sure.
Can I call Dame Lucretia? Is she busy?
You call, and after several rings, when you are sure that it is about to go to voicemail, her voice picks up.
Hi.
Hello?
I'm sorry, long time I haven't checked in.
Georgina, darling. What can I do for you?
Were you at Parliament today? Or yesterday?
Well, not today, but I was there yesterday, yes. Why?
Are you okay?
Well, we're all a bit flustered, dear. But I'll be fine.
You seem pretty chill about what happened.
Would being upset and dramatic make it different?
I guess not. Are people doing anything about it?
Well, yes, of course. A lot of people are doing things about it. I couldn't tell you what everyone is doing, if that's what you're asking. I don't have that kind of information.
Of course not. Maybe it's not good to talk about it here on the phone now, but I'd love to reconnect later or soon.
Well, you know where to find me.
And George kind of looks at the rest of the party for a second. Who would house Fiona back if you were backing an heir?
Is there a role I could possibly make to know that?
You could make me an intelligence and politics role?
I do have that.
I have it, but I feel like Lucretia's gonna be smarter, gonna just be able to tell me.
6 successes.
Jesus.
From what you know of House Fiona, if they are going to support anyone, it is probably going to be Princess Lenore, who is David's proper heir on paper, who he named to be his heir in the event that he and the High Queen did not have a child.
They'll stick the straight and narrow and back Princess Lenore. Sorry, go ahead.
In the event that it turns out that High Queen Fairlith is pregnant, they would back her child when it came of age. And as you answer, Lucretia kind of pauses over the phone. You do well to listen to your friend.
In the event that the child is underage, would there be a regent involved? And if so, who would they support in that instance?
That is a more complicated matter. Potentially could be Morwen, who was regent when the High King went missing in the 90s, or could be the High Queen. I'll be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure which one would act as regent. Most likely the High Queen, though.
That would make sense, although what makes sense isn't always what happens. I imagine both of these individuals would be targets to any opponents to that line of thinking regarding the succession.
Oh yes, obviously. Which is why they are both all three of them are heavily under guard, I would imagine. They're members of my own house that have been pledged to their protection.
That is a relief to hear.
It would be silly to assume that this would be a big that people would fight over this, right? I mean, there's already an heir.
No, darling, it's not silly.
I mean, historically, if you think about succession crises in the past, before there were legal acts protecting the line of succession in countries like the United Kingdom, there were constant wars, even when there was an heir from the previous ruler.
All one would have to do to throw everything into chaos is to, let's say, question the validity or question the ability of the heir to take the High King's place.
Indeed, or have the biggest army, or
it would require a significant amount of political capital, but it wouldn't be impossible.
I guess.
Are we in Game of Thrones? Elodie is clearly not trying to be funny. They are trying to comprehend what is happening.
Something very similar, darling. But nothing Martin could have written could be as vicious as, she politics.
I guess it stands to reason. I guess the next question is who would back anyone else?
That's a much bigger and more complicated picture that I'm not sure I could answer for you realistically. Not yet. It's too early. I can only tell you what Fiona has sworn.
Understood.
We swore to honor High King David's wishes, and we will until presented a reason why doing so would be the worst option for Concordia.
That makes sense. Stay safe. I don't know what's happening, and I will keep my nose out of trouble.
Good. I certainly hope you do. Do you need anything from me, dear? Or was this simply a checking in and getting a lay of the land call?
I don't know yet. Nothing. I don't know yet. This feels like it's bigger than me, and it'll be fine. I'll be fine.
All right. Well, you know where to find me if you need me.
Thank you. I will.
And when you hang up and tuck your phone away, you are able to continue on with your walk. It is roughly 2 or 3 hours into your tromping across the city. Is anybody going to call Book to let him know what's going on, or are you just going to wait and see if you need him before you say anything?
We should let Crook know, right?
Yeah.
Indeed, I don't mind giving him a call, and I will pull up my phone and do so.
Hey, Georgie.
Yes.
Or maybe Lord Rhodes, you might know this. What happens if the queen is pregnant?
Then a regent takes over until the child comes of age. Assuming that everyone honors David's wishes and respects that his child should be heir.
What if the child isn't a changeling?
That's not how that works. They're, Arcadian, she?
That makes sense, I guess.
They don't go through Chrysalis the way we do, Elodie.
Pull out her notebook and starts writing in it.
The Arcadian she are a complicated matter. I'm sure Rowan at some point will have time to give you the full rundown on how they work.
But certainly, we can make that the topic for our next lesson, unless something more pressing comes up, Elodie. But I will answer that question for you in time.
Is the queen okay right now?
I don't know. I imagine not. Her husband's dead.
Well, I mean, like physically.
I don't know. And I wouldn't know. I have no reason to know that the guards aren't going to tell anyone what her status is. They're not going to confirm or deny anything. The less people know about where and how she is, the better for her.
I slowly pull out my phone and send a text message to nobody of consequence. And just say, hey, if you happen to see an important person, maybe check on them and say, oh, Elodie thinks that you're awesome and wants you to be okay. Send message.
You do not immediately get an answer back, but that's very cute. Rowan, are you calling Crook?
I am, yes.
Crook, you are back at the coffee shop. It's been a while, and your phone rings, and it is Rowan's number.
Hey.
Hello, Crook. I trust your business is concluded?
Yeah.
Well, we have been following this wisp that Sigrun has conjured for quite some time, and it seems to be leading us out of the city.
Okay. Where are you now?
I'm not going to give a specific location. What I could tell you and what you are able to put together is that as you are moving, it is taking you towards the northernmost point of the city.
Okay.
For those who are unaware, Washington, D.C. is like a square that has been upended onto one of its corners. So the northernmost point is literally a point.
Gotcha. Okay. I would probably know this. Does Crook know how to drive?
He does not. But, all right, if you're headed that way, I'll hatch an Uber.
I can order a car for you.
I got it.
All right.
And if you're going to the north end, I'll just have it drop me off at Rock Creek Park, and we'll ping each other until we find each other.
Absolutely. I hate to ask this, but if you wouldn't mind bringing a few things to eat, I'm not sure how long we're going to be out here.
I'll bag up the rest of the stuff you baked.
Thank you ever so much. That is very kind. I'll see you when you get here.
All right, Crook, you are able to bag things up, dump what's left of the already made coffee into a big ass thermos from the kitchens, and head out to grab an Uber towards Rock Creek Park.
Yep.
Is anyone in the rest of the group going to do anything, or are we just continuing on the walk?
I mean, we're still walking, but I have to ask now. Lord Rhodes.
Yes, Georgina?
What? I feel silly not knowing this. What house are you from?
Does it matter?
A little.
Why?
Houses have cannons?
They do.
I don't know. We're about to enter into a space that feels deeply political, and knowing what we know about each other.
If your question is, am I going to get involved in the struggle for succession, the answer is no. I will back who I think will be best for Concordia. All of Concordia.
Evasive.
How's Kira's mom doing?
She's worried. She agreed to stay home in case she shows up or calls. We've got search parties out. Those who I know are loyal, but we were out all night and didn't find anything.
Well, we're gonna find something, right? We only got a little bit further.
We hope.
We know, because positivity.
I would like anybody who has dots in politics to make me an intelligence in politics roll.
Yeah,
now that
intelligence in politics.
now that you all have some time, to kind of brain on Lord Rhodes being very evasive in his answers to your questions.
Deeply
I don't have
weird.
politics.
Politics and what?
Intelligence.
I don't have any brain stuff. It's kind of sad.
We'll try, but I'm not gonna.
I did try to teach you.
I'm just a little kid. I'm
Yeah,
only
Rowan is-
23.
Rowan spent
22?
willpower
Politics and intelligence.
and got 4. Georgie did not spend willpower and got 2. Sigrun did not spend willpower but got 3. All right, 2, 3, 4. Interesting. Georgie, with only 2, you're not sure. There's a couple of houses that could work with. He could be House Fiona for all you know.
I should probably talk to my people more often.
You should probably talk to your people more often. Sigrun, you are reasonably certain based on his answer that he has to be from a Seelie house. And everything that you have seen from him suggests that he is certainly Seelie. Rowan, you have a nagging suspicion that he may be from House Liam. And there is a good reason why he doesn't come out and just say what house he's from.
Got it.
House Liam is not they're not like an evil house by any stretch of the imagination, but they're not a terribly popular house, especially among the Sidhe. House Liam are they believe that humans should be able to live free from the influence of the Fae. And they actively loathe things like ravaging as a means of harvesting glamour. They are very, very good with mortals and mortal society, not great in Fae society. There is a reason why the Rhodes' little fiefdom is, for all intents and purposes, in terms of like Fae society, kind of cash poor. It is a small, not terribly well populated part of the city, which works out well for you guys because it makes the coffee shop kind of a hotbed for meeting. It kind of keeps you a little bit safer from other groups because you're not like hemmed in. There aren't people trying to kind of constantly encroach on your territory. But it also kind of denies the Rhodeses too much in the way of political clout.
Gotcha.
House Liam is it tends, of all of the houses, one of the better houses to commoners as well.
For sure. Obviously, I'm going to keep all of this to myself right now.
This is probably
How's your
for the
poker
best.
face?
He's having a rough day.
Yeah.
Elodie just looking at you with wide, confused eyes, waiting to be filled with knowledge.
I try to shoot Elodie a look that the sort of look that just says later.
I do the little zipper drag thing across my lips and then throw away the key. And then I panic because I can't open my mouth.
Slight eye roll at the complete lack of tact that was just shown there. But try to cover that lack of subtlety with my own subtlety. I doubt that's going to work, though.
Okay. It does not take long. Well, I say it doesn't take long. It does take long. It takes a while. You realize that Crook may have been more dead on the money for where to meet you than even he may have realized. Because you begin to see signs pointing the way towards Rock Creek Park, and it seems like the Wisp is headed in that direction. For reference, Rock Creek Park takes up a large portion of the northernmost point of the city. If you imagine the top of the diamond kind of being cut off so that it's like a triangle, like half of the triangle is Rock Creek Park.
A park, great.
A park, indeed.
Anyone who would like to can roll me intelligence and Greymare.
I've had so many mediocre rolls.
No chance a creative specialty applies here.
No.
I didn't think so. Okay. That's a 5.
Rowan is making me feel inadequate.
I'm so sorry. I swear I did not do anything to this bot.
I'm sorry,
you're
Clara. What'd you
totally
say?
fine.
What do you mean? You want to talk about it?
No, it's fine.
We all have our strengths.
I have bunked with the 2 rolls that I have done.
My strength is boy. This is not that.
My strength is strength.
So what did everybody roll?
3. Success.
5.
2.
Goose egg.
Elodie, you got nothing. You have no idea why you would be going towards a park. Maybe they picked it because it's a super remote place. You have seen like TV shows where they do like police procedurals where a lot of bodies show up in Rock Creek Park.
Oh my god, they took her to a secondary location.
In fact, you're unaware that it is just a reputation and rumors formed by TV. You have absolutely heard the stories that Rock Creek Park is where bodies turn up.
Oh my god, Kira's dead.
I hope Elodie did not say that out loud.
She absolutely did. Too late now.
Oh, no. God.
Elodie, let's not jump to conclusions, please.
This is the body park where all the bodies are found.
We are never listening to My Favorite Murder again.
Elodie definitely had to like sleep in bed with Georgie for a couple days.
Absolutely.
The rest of you, however, have a little bit of trepidation for an entirely different reason. There are stories about pathways into the dreaming happening in wild places, and Rock Creek Park is as close as you get to someplace like that.
Now there are, and I will relate that out loud. There are often pathways into the dreaming from wilder places.
Oh yes, that does remind me. Another small thing that happened yesterday.
Because Sigrun just keeps on like, oh, one more thing.
I was trying to scry a vision of what was to come. The vision showed us approaching a tree connecting to the dreaming. And it also gave the order in how we entered in. I'm curious if this may be what the dreaming was alluding, that the vision was alluding to.
Perhaps it was less a vision of the future and more a command from the dreaming?
Perhaps.
We have work tomorrow.
See, this is why I called out.
Yeah, you gotta get that sweet, sweet PTO.
They don't give PTO to interns.
Oh, then that sucks.
I can cover any lost wages, I'm sure.
Ugh.
Think nothing of it, my dear. It's fine. Money is there to share.
Let's find out if we're actually doing what I think we're going to do next, and then I'll just tell her I got COVID.
That works as well as anything, I suppose.
Jumping forward a bit, you all manage to make it at long last to the entrance of the park. Your feet are sore. Your legs are tired. You have been walking for hours. And sitting on a picnic table, not too far from the entryway, or from the entrance, which he has brushed all of what remains of the snow and things off of, is Crook. Crook, you've been here for a while.
And strangely, no one comes up to bother me.
Nope.
I like to think that Elodie, having done so much cardio, is the only one who is not tired and is, hi, Crook.
Hey, I'll eat something. I brought coffee too, and a couple of bottles of water.
I'm going to sit for 2 minutes.
And she just sits.
Thank you.
Sigrun sits, and the wisp keeps going further into the park.
Damn it.
I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can keep following, I can do it, and I run after it.
Elodie and I will go. I have a feeling you'll be able to find me, he says, tapping his hat.
Fair enough.
Bitch, I got Wayfair. I might do magic about this.
I'll order a lunch, and I'm gonna get onto Uber Eats and find the nicest place that's relatively
You do
close.
not have that kind of time.
Oh,
Rowan,
all right, never mind.
Rowan, come on. Eat the muffins.
We need our very well. And I eat my muffin.
You all get the feeling that Sigrun is about ready to just give up on life. Sigrun is officially regretting bringing time into this casting because that thing's going to just keep going.
What
You
time
need-
do you
It's
think we
worth
have?
it. It's so worth it. But she's a librarian.
Do you need me to carry your ass?
Who's gonna offer?
Specifically your ass, no other part.
She's not just a librarian, she's a slew librarian who has been out in the sun all day. It's
Yeah.
not a great time for her.
You have an umbrella.
I would like to be carried, even if it is in a sack.
Come on. And yeah, Crook will just fireman's carry her so that she can still see the wisp.
You know what? That is funny enough that I'm just gonna let it happen. I'm not gonna call for a roll. You've got 4 dots in strength. You're fine. Sigrun, it's not the most pleasant ride ever. Crook so you've seen Crook's skin a lot, right? And it's always looked a little bit weird, but now that he's holding you, you realize that it is like rough and like rock-like hard to the touch. Not in the like he's got muscles for days kind of way, but like if you were to like run the tips of your fingers like over his cheek, it feels like touching granite.
I have a random question. Sigrun has Squirm as her birthright. Is it possible? So, is it possible to Squirm to adjust yourself to at least be a bit more comfortable, flavor-wise? I'm sure there's not really going to be much rolling for this. It's
So you can try to get a little bit more comfortable, but you're never going to be 100% at ease. Because like this is like trying to get comfortable on a bench made out of like unpolished stone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I think she'll just like at least like adjust in a way where a lot of the pressure on Crook, it's like alleviated to like another portion. So yeah.
Crook, it is awkward because as you carry her, occasionally Sigrun moves, and she moves in ways that just seem like nobody should be able to do that.
It's like carrying an octopus.
And you're always a little bit worried you're going to drop her.
Can you not?
Can you not be so rigid?
You want to walk?
That's getting clipped.
Georgie and Elodie run into each other.
There's a child here. It's me.
23.
I'm a 23-year-old child. Actually, I'm 22.
Your point is what?
Inappropriate.
That's enough.
It's not my fault you took it as inappropriate. Anyway, let's just go.
I'm going to be deeply disappointed if nobody clips that. Okay. Could you be less rigid?
Never
She
thought.
didn't want to say hard because I feel like that would have been worse.
You all travel deeper into the park. And as you walk, I would like anybody who has kenning to roll perception and kenning, please.
Well, I know what I'm buying with my points next week.
Will detail-oriented apply here?
No, this isn't really a details thing. This
No
is
worries.
more of a general awareness thing. Oh, Georgie.
I'm still thinking about how rigid Crook is.
Oh, don't finish that sentence.
Also, how
Jesus
dare you pick a
Christ.
name that rhymes with your username?
Oh, drat. Only 3 this time.
Oh, no, that's 4.
Oh, I got 4.
How
Sorry.
dare you.
I got 3.
I was looking at
I got
diagrams.
3.
I don't even get to roll.
So, those of you who passed the roll, which it looks like everybody except Georgie and Elodie, who didn't get to roll at all because she doesn't have dots in kenning, should really fix that.
I'm gonna fix it.
I'll teach you.
You all begin to feel and taste raw glamour on the air as you move. It again, not wild like a chrysalis. It's not being put off in waves or anything like that. It is a little bit like walking around outside as a summer storm is rolling in, and the tension and like thickness in the air gets more and more intense the further you go. The air starts to smell sweeter around you, and you begin to realize that as you're moving, the foliage and vegetation around you seems more and more alive, less and less winter dormant. You start, as you're walking among bare trees, and as you walk, you watch the trees around you slowly become have more and more foliage on them, and the foliage has browns and then orange and gold, and then just gold and pale green into full-fledged green, full-fledged like emeralds and forest greens, as if you are walking backwards in through the seasons to a spring or summer setting. And as you do so, you feel and hear less and less leaves and fallen branches crack under your feet. It feels like the ground becomes mossy and soft with fresh grass and vegetation. And then as you do so, you see a pond up ahead. Crook, you've been to Rock Creek Park a number of times since your chrysalis.
Yep.
You've never seen this pond in your life.
That's not part of the park.
And hanging over the pond is a huge, majestic willow with long weeping branches that grace the surface of the water.
Wow. I know that there are places in the natural world that have sort of sources of glamour. The term is escaping the player's
Glade.
brain right now. Glade, yes. Does it seem like this might be one of those places?
This could be one of those places. That is certainly a possibility. The other thing that occurs to you with your knowledge is you have heard, though never seen, a natural wild gateway. But this could be one of those too.
Right. And given my sense of foreboding going in...
Portal, sorry, not portal. Gateway. Wild wild portal, not gateway. Good
wild
lord.
Portal. Okay, perfect. This could very well be a wild portal.
It is division.
Sigrun, I'm going to put you down now.
All right, thank you.
Did they take Kiera to the dreaming?
Maybe. Where's the wisp going?
Towards that tree. Sigrun, you've seen this tree before.
Yep. Curious, though.
Well,
It is more so because In the vision, Lord Rhodes was not with us, but perhaps it was only just focusing on our motley.
What did you see?
Need to look back at the notes and what order it was in. It was us going towards a willow. This willow, I believe to be exact. And it is at willow we entered single file. It was... where is it? Crook, Elodie, Georgie, Rowan, and then I. There is a taste of glimmer in the air as we enter through the doorway. The vision carried a sense of hope, resources, opportunity, new. The Ace of Pentacles was the card I drew for it yesterday.
I'll text my boss.
It's where your little light bulb is going. So,
Rowan is self-employed. Actually, I will say it is pretty clear that this is what we need to do, but if we want any information on who it is we might be pursuing, I could try and ask the trees around this area, unless we feel that would be a waste of time.
I wouldn't want to lose the bouncing quest giver, he says, pointing to the wisp.
Is the wisp...
An excellent point, Sir Crook. Sorry, go ahead.
Is the wisp... Has it stopped at the tree, or does it seem like it wants to go through the doorway of the tree?
It is moving towards it pretty steadily. It is intending to go through the branches. You don't know what's behind the branches. You don't know if it is exactly what you saw in your dream, in your vision, or not.
Okay.
From the outside, this looks like the same tree, though.
Okay.
Right,
I would like Elodie specifically.
Oh no.
To make me a perception and alertness check, please. Difficulty 6.
Could I spend a willpower?
You can absolutely spend a willpower. All you have to do is tell me you're doing it. You don't have to ask for permission. The only rolls you cannot spend willpower on are willpower rolls or successes. While everybody else is talking and they're all kind of stressed out and going back and forth about the possibility of where the light might be leading them, you turn to say something to Kiera's dad to reassure him that it's all going to be okay. And when you turn to do so, you realize that he's not there anymore.
Do I see where he went?
Nope.
Guys? Guys?
Yes.
We lost another one.
Heavens above and below.
Those heavens.
Yes. All right, I'm going.
Do we see where the wisp is?
It's going into the wisp, between the branches of the wisp. Crook walks forward. Anybody, and I'm not going to make anyone roll. Well, no, I am going to make anyone roll this. Anybody who has 3 or more dots in Grey Mare can roll me intelligence at Grey Mare.
Coming up.
You're going to what?
Coming up.
Ah.
I'm going to willpower this.
Okay.
For 6.
That's good, because Sigrun did not do well on that roll at all. Sigrun rolled 3 successes and 2 ones, so got 1 success.
Mm-hmm.
Sigrun, you remember that wild portals scare people in Cathane society? Like, it's a worrying thing, but you can't remember why? Rowan, you know why. As you are hurrying to follow Crook, and you all are instinctively filing into the order that Sigrun saw in her vision. It occurs to you with a kind of deep sense of concern and that dread that you had when you had your vision the day before. The reason why wild portals one of the reasons why wild portals scare those in Kithane society so much is that there's no telling where a wild portal will lead to because they are inherently unstable.
Oh dear.
And that is the last thought that you have.
Thank you for listening to District of Dreams, a Changeling the Dreaming actual play by Hallowed Haven Studios. Storytelling for this actual play was provided by Bloodied Porcelain. Sir Crook is played by Bookkeeper. Elodie Blight is played by Hannah Marie. Sigrun Spellman is played by Madame Ava. Rowan Parsons is played by Rob Davies. Georgina Byrne is played by Clara Allison. Our intro music is by Michael Shynes. Our art is by Instagram.com/V is for Vampire. And our editing is by Virons.